Yo, this is kind of a weird video I'm going to be making today, and I'm going to be talking about how burnout occurs when playing Genshin or really like doing anything in life. So just because I'm using Genshin as an example, it doesn't mean that it's only Genshin, but most of this applies to Genshin only because of the stuff I'm going to be talking about. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and comment and follow my Twitch in the description because very soon I'm going to be going live so much and you don't want to miss that, trust me. Let me start off this video by saying that Genshin Impact is a long game. From leveling up characters, weapons, artifacts, completing quests, the game is just extremely long. In a way, you can get lost in it. You can get lost playing the game every single day, exploring stuff, finding materials, farming artifacts, doing all this stuff, because truly Genshin Impact is an endless game, and as long as you put time into it, you will always get a return out of it. And that is how the game really traps you, in my opinion. Let's use a game like Call of Duty as an example. Call of Duty, when you get all the weapons gold, all the weapons, max rank, max camo, the only thing you have left is just to get your level up, and that does nothing to you. Now, that may be motivational for some people, but for most people, you're going to get burnt out in like a week if you have everything in the whole game and you're just playing to see a number go up. With Genshin Impact, it's completely different. Every single day, you have opportunities to farm endlessly for characters. You can ascend characters almost endlessly, ascend weapons, and do all of this stuff, and do quests almost endlessly. The only thing that's stopping that in Genshin is the resin cap, which allows you only to farm some specific materials every day, and there's a limit on it. But it doesn't account for doing quests, it doesn't account for exploration, it doesn't account for farming other materials. So resin only blocks like 40% of what you need to level up a character, which in my opinion is insane. How you can get so much materials for a character with no resin, and that is what traps people. They will sit on the game hours on end farming to get characters. Now I want to speak on the little issue I have with the game, and that's considering its time, and that's considering how much time you have to invest into the game to actually get any decent results. Now, I'm not saying that you have to build all your characters. I'm not saying that the time scale to build every character is long, because obviously it is. I'm talking about building one character, or even four, because that's how the game works. You need to build 4 characters that work well together. Now, the whole process of getting a character is getting enough wishes for them and primogems, and once you get them, you need materials, books, mora, and all these materials to level 90 a character. And it wouldn't be an issue if it was like small materials, like you didn't need that much of them, but no, you need so much. In fact, most of the time you have to farm the materials in a couple of days in a row, because if you don't join people, there is obviously a cap on how much materials you can farm every day in your own world. But if you just join another person's world, you can just get all their materials instead. So you can just keep doing this and keep doing this until you have enough materials. With enemy drops, if you run out of enemies in your world, you can just join another one to get those same class of enemies and get back to farming easily. Now, getting a character 0 to 90, in my opinion, as a normal player, like a normal sane human being, which 90% of Genshin players aren't at this point, but getting a character from 0 to 90, it takes time. In my opinion, you probably won't level 90 more than a few of your characters if you're not an extremely dedicated player, because it takes so long. And getting from 80 to 90 especially takes a lot of books and a lot of more, and just a lot of materials that you won't have enough of if you've just started out, or if you're not playing hours upon hours a day. The ideal of always having something to do, in my opinion, is the root cause of burnout in this game. You can always progress, always get characters better, you can always level up something. There's always something to level up in this game, always something to explore, always quests to do, always an area to finish, always an achievement to complete. There is so much. The game is truly endless, especially if you start now. You will not complete the game by playing 1 to 2 hours a day every day. If you want to beat this game, you will need to put so much hours into it, and that is what causes burnout. Is because you're constantly playing this game every single day, doing daily stuff, because the way the game works is if you don't play daily, you lose out on stuff, because there is a cap on how much resin you can have. So you're going to be just playing if you don't play every day, you're going to be losing out on primogems, on resin, and all that. Most people buy Welkin, and if you don't log in every day, in a lot of people's eyes, you're losing money. You pay that money for Welkin, and now you're not logging in, so you're going to feel guilty, and you're going to feel guilty that you've left your resin cap. You're going to feel guilty that you didn't do your daily commissions. You're overall just going to feel like you didn't do what you were supposed to. And I know a lot of Genshin players feel that way, that when they don't log on for one day, they constantly cannot get out of their mind that their resin is capped, and they could have, the better artifact, the better weapon, the better talent level, the better everything that they could have. It's something that they won't stop thinking about. In my mind, that is where the trap is. Especially with Genshin's gambling-esque mechanics, like with artifacts, like every single day you can farm artifacts. because there's always an opportunity that you're going to get one that's stronger than the one you already have. That's why you keep doing it. Even though you've got quote-unquote good artifacts, you're still going to farm that domain because you want the perfect one. You know, the 50 CV, 40 CV piece, you want that. And something else I feel is a big factor of this is the lack of endgame content. When you're a new player, you're constantly doing like whatever you want. You don't care what the meta is, you don't care what you have to do in the game. You're just doing the main quest, you're just progressing on, you're having fun, you're experimenting with different characters. But once you reach that end game point, you're kind of stuck there with like no quests to do, or you're just bored of quests so you don't want to do them, because I can agree that they're basically the same thing almost all the time, especially in earlier regions. I can't say they don't get boring, because they really do. Especially with the lack of voice acting, you're just sitting there reading text and clicking on your screen half the time. And then like once every like blue moon you get to fight something. So when you kind of reach that late game point, you realize I have all the characters I need, I have all the characters I want, I have all the weapons I could want. What do I do now? All my needed characters are built, so you're going to be sitting there in a standstill. But what I do agree with, I've had my fair share of experiences of Genshin Burnout, but like now I feel like I'm back in the game and I'm more dedicated now, and I'm allocating myself some time and I'm not letting myself play too much. Which now I'm going to move on how to prevent burnout in Genshin. Probably the most informative part of the video. And my number one tip is to just control how much you play. Control how much you do every day. If it means something, make a schedule on what you want to do on each day. Instead of just going into the game, doing all this on the same day and burning yourself out because you feel like, okay, I have to get everything done today. The most common excuse for this I see is, I want to do it today because I know I'm not going to want to do it tomorrow. Now that is a horrible mindset to have, because then you're limiting yourself, you're overstimulating yourself to play this game and to like collect all these materials, and then you realize when you're doing this every single day, playing for hours, grinding for materials instead of just playing the game and having fun, you're just kind of deteriorating at the game. It's not fun anymore. There is a point where you reach like that point of like, I need my characters to be the best they can be. So instead of going around the map exploring, you know, having fun, you're just every single day farming weapon materials, farming this. Instead of just, you know, going around. And what I mean by a schedule is allocating yourself specific time in the day to get stuff done. I'm not saying you have to set a timer, because as much as I'd love to say, set a timer, and then when the timer stops, stop playing. I'm not going to say that because that's unrealistic. I'm not going to make you have a schedule on when you play your games like it's a school lesson. I don't do that, so I'm not expecting you to do it either. It might work for you, and if you think it will, then do that. But I don't really recommend it, because then it feels like your game is like more of a chore than, you know, something fun like you can do whenever you want. The way I'd go about it is, you know, think about what you're gonna do today and what you're gonna do tomorrow. And let's say you want to build a Raiden. You could allocate yourself for one day to farm materials for a boss and then hop straight off. And that's normal, that's fine. I really like doing that a lot. When I'm building a new character or something, I like to just focus on one thing every day. You know, one day collect all the materials in the world that I have. The second day, get all the boss materials, and then get all the enemy materials, and then just, you know, as it goes on. But sometimes I like to put the enemy materials and the flowers in the same day. And then one day you do weapon materials, and then the other day you do talent materials. Because if you try to squeeze all of that in a single day, and you're constantly, you know, spending your resin to get everything done, it's not going to work out for you. My number one tip with Genshin late game especially is just don't be impatient. You know, don't sacrifice that plus 20 artifact that you saw as mid, when it could have worked great on a different character. Don't sacrifice plus 20 just to level up and get a double crit artifact. Just wait until the next day, farm more artifacts, and then get the XP from that and use that instead. I have fallen victim to this so many times, and it's one of the primary reasons that for the longest time I've had a low selection of artifacts. Like, I had to farm pretty much for every character that I've ever gotten, instead of having like, you know, a backup set up first. So, you know, I'd have all the materials for the character that I wanted, and I'd be so happy. And then I've realised, hold on, I've got to use a substitute artifact set because I didn't farm properly. So then you're just at a standstill. Genshin Burnout is real among every other type of burnout, but Genshin Burnout hits you because you're like, you know, you feel like the game is a chore to play. You don't feel like you're having fun. You feel like, oh, I have to do this today, man. Oh, I don't want to do this. Obviously, you're not going to want to farm all the time. I'm not saying just because you don't want to farm, it automatically means you're burnt out of the game and you don't want to play it and you hate it. That's not what I mean, because like, there are some materials which I hate farming myself. Like, I'm farming for Nahida right now, and her flowers are fucking shit to farm. It's boring, I get it. I don't want to. But that doesn't mean I'm burnt out. I like playing the game. I like doing my quests. I like doing all this. I have questionable tastes about the developers though, but you know, we move. And now for like the final bit, I just want to talk about how to actually solve burnout when you have it. Like, let's say you don't want to have the burnout. You want to have the urge to play this game. And my best advice is to stop. Stop playing the game for like a few days or maybe a week or two, and once you stop playing the game, trust me, after like a week probably you'll want to come straight back. It's happened to me so many times, because when I've done that, every single time I've came back to the game, it has been stronger. I wanted to play more, and it's just been great. So like the last time I quit for like, let's say 2-3 months, I'd say, and pretty much every one of my friends at my AR went up a whole AR while I wasn't playing. So that's how long I've been gone from the game. And when I came back, I noticed that I was like, fuck, you know, how much do these people play this game? But all jokes aside, take that break if you need it. Don't force yourself to play the game, because if you're burnt out and you're still interacting with the thing, you're gonna make it worse. So just stay off it, find another game to play, do something else. Just focus on, like, I don't know, your school or your work or your passion or your projects, whatever. Start a new hobby, you know. Start, I don't know, art, music, filmmaking, stuff like that. Just start something new. Work on something new. And when you do that, you'll notice how much easier it becomes. You'll realize that you want to play the game again. And now you have a whole new hobby to pair alongside it. So you can allocate 50-50 to Genshin and your new hobby. Or you could do like 70-50 to Genshin. Or 70-50. I'm a fucking stupid. I just said 70-50. And thank you for listening to me, app. If you did enjoy the video, please interact with it, you know, like, comment, subscribe. Of course, follow my Twitch, which is in the description. I'm going to be going live so much once 4.4 drops. It's unreal. So please head over there. Give me a follow. And when you see me go live, please don't be shy to say hello, mate. But please don't edge, because I will ban you.